Torah, Pash B'chukoisai, Torah. Gemara says, Megillah 31b, says the Gemara, Ezra was Masaki, that we should read the Klovos, the Toichacha. This week's parsha for all the Americans also, the whole parsha. We should read the Toichacha, the parsha of the Toichacha, before Shmuez, before Shmuez, and before Rosh Hashanah. We have two Toichachas, one in parsha B'chukoisai, our parsha, and then our parshas. And Kisavai, which we read before Rosh Hashanah, Tichla, Shana v'Kiloiseha, that the year end and its klolus, and we should begin the year and the brachas, finish off the klolus. And therefore, the Gemara asks, is Shmuez or Rosh Hashanah? And Moshe says yes. The Mishnah says in Rosh Hashanah 16a, V'arba pragma oilam nidoin, Tiferes is nidoin Apelbaum ha'ilon. The fruits of the tree were judged for on Shmuez. Why the fruits of the tree? Different Shmuez. Hashem, hopefully this week we'll talk about maybe next week before Shmuez. But we talk about the klolus, Tichla Shana v'Kiloiseo. There's a hemshich that we have to understand. Tichla Shana v'Kiloiseo is not just stam. That we have to understand that the Rosh Hashanah and the New Year's, which is starting now with Rosh Hashanah, it says it has a din of a new year, have a tachlis. There's a tachlis. And in order to understand what that tachlis is, we have to beforehand give a hakdama, preface it with the eating of the clothes. So why is that? About the remez of the Chazal, Tichla Shana v'Kiloiseo, but it's Vaistos, there's a hemshah, there's a connection to starting off the new year. You have to understand the clothes. Secondly, you have to understand the Indian of what brings the terrible klolus. When you read the klola, the Toichacha, Rashi brings in the beginning of Nitzavim, so when they heard the Toichacha, their faces turned pale. They didn't know, they were lost. The Toichacha was a very scary, scary thing. Which some, obviously the prophecy of the Toichacha, Shem Yerachim, there were doiros that we saw, Shem Yerachim, the prophecy. Parents never eating the children's flesh, person eating his own flesh. The terrible, terrible, terrible klolos, curses that Hashem gives. And what is the reason why these curses get worse and worse? What is the siba of the klolos? Is there a specific aveira that the Torah talks that we're doing? Is there something that we're involved in, something that we're connected to, something that's causing God's wrath? What is it all about? Why the clothes are so strong and so strict? So in the parsha of B'chukoisai, all the truths in the parshas, the Torah gives a of Tachas Shalirata Hashem, the Simcha, different Shmuez, the of Simcha and Avodas Hashem, another Shmuez. But here in Parsha and also over there's a common word that the Torah uses to describe what's bringing HaKadosh Baruch Hu's wrath. What is that word? V'im telchu imi keri. If you go carry, what is this thing of carry? Besides, he was he wasn't a good Secretary of State. What's Kerry have to do with anything? And it's not what you're thinking, Rabbi say. This is not that true either. Bekitza, what's the inyan of Kerry? Where do we find this also? The inyan of Kerry in the Torah. Asher korcha b'derech. Remember that famous thing that we came to shul, where everybody's running to shul to hear the kriya for Parshas Amalek, Zichiras Amalek, Asher korcha. Carry again. The terrible wrath that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has against Amalek is not because they did a specific aveira. Asher korcha. Carry. What is the scene of the carry? The in America right now, they're also reading Parashat Bahar, and because we didn't really give a shmuz on Bahar, we want to connect Bahar, but to say a little bit something from that parsha. Very interesting in Parashat Bahar, Rabbi said. In Parashat Bahar, we have the inyan of a thing called Yoivel, Jubilee. That year is a very, very special year. We don't have it today, it's not talked about so much. But in the parashas of the Torah, there's the inyan of a Jubilee year. And that year, everything returns to its original ownership, original matzah. Slaves go back to their owners. Lands that were purchased go back to the original owners. It's a special din after 50 years. Jubilee. Yoivel here. We call a Yoivel Haaretz. But it's interesting. The Rebbeinu Shalom just didn't say, okay, after 50 years, let's do it. The Rebbeinu Shalom gave a whole Seder process. And that process is called the Tiferes. So Safar Telecha Sheva Shonim Sheva Pamim. 7 times 7. Sounds familiar, something going on we're doing now. 7 times 7 counts 749 years. And then we celebrate the Jubilee year. It seems, if you read the Pesukim, that Lamaisa, this is a whole process over here. That the Bereshit wanted that the way we should celebrate, the way we should go into the Jubilee year of Yoivel, is with this countings of 7 Shemitas, 6 years, and the year of Shemitah, 6 years, and the year of Shemitah till 49. What is this process? What is the Kavanas HaTorah in this process? We're going to discuss what's a major Yisroel today, because we're here, Rabbi said, for a purpose. We're all here for a purpose. We came, I hope, for that purpose, but we came here for a tachlis. We have to be real with ourselves, and real with our friends, and real with reality. These are our years when we're in Yeshiva. The years are so important to us. We speak about it many times. How super important are these years when a person is in Yeshiva, the years when he has the opportunity to build his future, to create his foundation. It's not just about having those few years in Israel, getting on the plane, getting your El Al ticket, whatever, easy jet, or not so easy jet, whatever the name of the airline is, you get on the plane, whatever airlines you get on, you go on the plane, you're going to Israel. What are you doing? I'm going to Israel. Where you're learning this yeshiva, that yeshiva. When are you going back? I don't know, a couple of years. I'm doing my thing. I'm going back, doing my thing. Why are you going? Everybody goes, all these years, everybody goes. What else are you going to do? Go to work? It's too hard. I go to yeshiva. Much easier. They make you get up for work. It's much easier to just be in yeshiva. Great years. Baruch Hashem. Zoicha Be'ez Hashem. To leave yeshiva with a big diploma, BML, bed modeling license, Vasili Pastuputic mattresses, 12 hours. He hasn't moved position. Baruch Hashem. Here's a 16-hour one. Look at that position. We'll bring cameras. We give a bed modeling license at the end of the year, boy side. Diploma, bed modeling. Looking for many, those thick mattress companies. They want to have good guys. You have to see like in a real deep sleep. I can suggest if you got for this, real deep sleep, like really sleeping. It's 3 days since he's got up. But anyway, so the Maisa, but if a person thinks about it logically and realistically, here for a tachlis was to build your future. You want to build your future, and that's why the yeshiva has to be a place where a person understands and he enjoys it there for the purpose of the tachlis. That he's going to walk out with a tremendous love, the love of Torah, a love of Yiddishkeit, to enjoy it, to enjoy his Torah. People ask me, what is the mission statement of your yeshiva, Rabbi Apelbaum? Parents sometimes ask me, Rabbi, what is your goal? I said, to get your son out of the bed. He says to me, Rabbi, good luck. But anyway, what is your goal? What is the goal? If we have to tighten it up, what's the goal that we're all here for? Really, again, we're here to be real people. What is your goal about having yeshiva? And I say to people, this is not my goal. This is the goal. It should be the goal of every Rosh Yeshiva and every boch. That after he leaves Apelbaum's after 21 years, after he leaves Apelbaum's or centers or whatever yeshiva there is, there should be one thing that a person got from that yeshiva. He's well rested. So, what should he leave the yeshiva with? He should leave with one or two things. It's not the number of Masechtas of Ada, that's also Gavaldik Shas and Poiskim, all good. But there has to be something inside that changes. There has to be something that we hit to the core of that person and we get him turned on. Turned on. A lot of guys, they're on the off button. A lot of guys, the inside is not turned. They're going through the motions. They're coming to the Seder. I'll show up. I'll come to a davening. I'll do a mitzvah. But is he turned on or is he turned off? Is something inside churning? Is he developing a love and a devotion and a dedication to Yiddishkeit? My mission statement is, I want everybody to leave here, no matter what he's going to do in life. Plumbing, have plunger, will travel, refrigerator repairman, accountant, lawyer, doctor, physical therapist. I want him to leave here knowing that I love Torah and Yiddishkeit. So no matter what he'll do in life, when he comes home and his children see him, he comes home after a hard day's work. Preparing, he fixed 7 refrigerators today and 2 washing machines. He plunged out a major stuffing. Too many wipes. He plunged it out. He was deep in the tzoya. Mimamakim krasicha. He wasn't allowed to do it, but he was deep in there. He cleaned out a whole sewage. The whole Lakewood today has running water. A big blockage. When he comes home, he dusts himself off. He comes to his chair and he pulls out his phone. No. He pulls out his Gemara, Baba Kama, and he thinks, Those were the days. I want to get back. I might have been in the sewer. I might have been repairing refrigerators, operating in brain surgery, pulling teeth. But what is my love? Mesechta Bava Kamen, Perek Meruba, Ameruba, Midas Tashlume Keifel, Midas Tashlume Arba V'chamisho. And he gets back into it, and here he is back in the yeshiva days, back in the yeshiva sitting with his chavusa, thinking, the Tiferes. And his son, little Yankel, comes home and says, there's my dad. He's nishkein plumber after all. There he is. They see him by the table. So he fell asleep, straight on the Gemara, drooling, all over his shas. But at least it's used to come to a house. Rabbi, don't you like my shas? Perfect. Picture perfect. Hasn't been touched in 50 years. I'm sorry, it's not true. My wife makes me dust it off every Erev Pesach. Look at that color coordination. The shas is perfect. Beige, blue, green, yellow shas. Perfectly ordered from my painter. He painted the color. Red, white, and blue, American shas. Beautiful. Every time he sings it, oh, say, can you see? Before you start to get it again, you got to open the Gemara now. Let's play ball. Here he is, drooling over the shas. His son Yankov comes over. He sees this is Ta, with his overalls with the paint on it, with his tie, his coat. He comes home straight over the geshmak of Yiddishkeit. And the geshmak, he sees him running out in the morning for a tefillah. Where do you get such a geshmak at that Shem Chesed tefillah? What are you talking about? The days in Tiferes Chaim, David Winnie came into my room, and I was up. I got up, and I ran to davening. I got a geshmak in the davening. And that carried over to geshmak in Yiddishkeit. I say, that's what we're after, I say. That's what we have to do. But how do we achieve that? How do we get there? That's the goal. That's the mission. And that should be the mission and goal of every Rosh Yeshiva and every Bachar that steps through the doors. There's no goal. There's a goal to finish, that's for sure, Shas, and learn Mesechtas, and celebrate Siyum. But it's all for the major goals. Get you turned on. Get that inside going. Get the pneumias. Get it going. Get turned on. And if you're not on the side, you're not accomplishing what you should be here for. Think it over again. But that's what we're here for. And we have certain times, halavai many years. Sometimes the window of opportunity is not so large. It could be a couple of years, as I say. It's what do you mean so many years? It doesn't go so easy. It could be sometimes even a year or whatever it is, the time you hear about that. This is the most important time of your life. It's so unbelievable. Like they say, that when you go, it's too bad that youth was given to the young. The opportunity of youth with power and strength and energy. You see the day starts, you're up at the crack of dawn. Most guys here are up at the crack of dawn because they never went to sleep. But he's up at the crack of dawn, he's ready to go. Day, it's day, light, energy, night, dark, down. Day, light, energy, opportunity, up, active. But more so, I say, when you hear that Yisroel Faket, this is the time. We gotta do it. We gotta get to the goal. If you leave that show, you don't have it. When are you gonna get it? falling asleep by the rabbi's shir between Mincha and Ma'ariv. Rabbi, please raise your voice. We have a choir of snorers. The new choir, the snoring choir. Because they have no business, they have no geshmak in Torah. Rabbi, raise your voice. Mr. Yankelovich snores like a kangaroo. He never got geshmak as soon as Rabbi. The parsha says, wake him up. When is he going to get the inspiration? Friday night at the dinner table with his Jewish press and his shorts. I just to change into casual wear for the Shabbos table. Khaki shorts. Goes well with the challahs. Color coordination. It even matches my shas. Beige. When is he going to get the inspiration? I'm taking it slow here, Rabbi. I'll get to Seder one day. We'll make it to Shachris. Oh yes, we will. By the end of this month, the last day of this month, 40 guys are here. Baruch Hashem, the flight's leaving in a half hour. When are we getting the inspiration? When are we doing it? When we're there, going to run to chakras, when we know it's going to be a 22-minute chakras, with laning, that's the slow minion in town. Want to know what the fast minion? You go in and you're out within 5 minutes. They skip a few things. When are we getting the inspiration to have a geshmak and Yiddishkeit? So how do we get it? That's the goal. That's what we're doing here. So whatever you thought you were here for, it's terribly wrong. Because you have a responsibility to yourselves, to your family, and to your little children, and to your wife, and to all those generations. You have a responsibility to make something of yourself that you'll be able to carry on to the generations afterwards. Because if you ain't got no geshmak on both sides, your kid ain't got no geshmak either. I'm just gonna be just like Dad. Learn how to snore by the rabbi's shir. My dad, I'm so proud of him. So how do we get the geshmak? How do we build this avos of Torah? How do we build the connection? So I think the answer, Rabbi, is, and these were the questions that we discussed at the beginning. So far to the Sheva, Shabsoi, Shonim, Sheva, Ba'onim. We have now a Chag, Rabbi, or Shmuez. We also have a Sphira before Shmuez. The Sofar to the Sheva, Sheva, Shabsoi, Sheva, Shmuez, Shmuez to Mimos. It's a very important word which in halacha is very, very, very important. A lot of halachas are determined by this word called temimos. For instance, the first night was supposed to start right away, as soon as possible. And Ashkenazim is to say it before Aleinu, even before Aleinu. And some hold that where halacha brings in Taf Beites, that be'etzem, a person should do tzviyas on before Ma'ariv. Even though Ma'ariv is more tadir, but since the class of Temimos wins out. And he's supposed to do it. We don't pass it like that. But that's the chosh of Temimos. But Temimos is a very interesting word. What does Temimos mean? Sheva, Shabbat, everyone knows this. So what does the word Temimos mean? What does Temimos mean? Temimos means complete. I want to explain that. And it's the be view 49 years and then the Yoivam. The Ben Shloilom, his Torah is so deep. It's so unbelievable what I said, but there's so much time, there's so much reason to Torah. What is the Jubilee year, boys, I expect of a person? This guy had an Eved. Larry the Eved. He did everything for him. He was helping him and doing everything. For 49 years, he was busy with this guy, taking care of his business. And the 50th year, he got a big farewell to Larry. He'll let go of him. Very difficult. In the 50th year, boys, I had a soda. He was producing me tomatoes and potatoes and kishuim, squash, and unbelievable vegetables and things. It was at 50 years I was reaping the benefits, but I bought this field from a neighbor. The 50th years I gotta say, bye-bye. Bye-bye squash. That's it. Give it back. And not just with a feeling grudge. So everyone wants to be simple. This is the Mitzvos of Torah. Give it back. It has to go back. How do we expect a person to do that? So I thought to myself, let's give out to the person. The Bereshit held that there's a training program. You know what the training program is? 7 years we go through a process. And every 6 years we work the land stark. And we reap the rewards. In the 7th year, Shlita, leave the real value. Why? It's not yours. Okay. No touching the land, get to the base medrash. Okay. Start the process again. 7 times that process becomes ingrained in a person. The land is not mine. That's why you have to work it first. You have to feel the bias. And then every 7th year, the Bereshit tells them, leave it. Don't touch it. Hefka. Anybody can take it. Once a person gets in a training process, that training process of 7 times 7, because of doing it, he now can stand the Jubilee year and say, let the fields return to the original owner. I have never been the buyer because I have trained myself in my brain. I'm not the buyer. Every 6 years I work in the 7th year. That's why it comes after the year of Shemitah, after we've done the year of Shemitah. That's my touch in the longest of the Mahalach of Shemitah and Yoel. But the place that is this Yisroel Munach here that's so fascinating. And that is what I say, this is the Yisroel. V'im telchu imi keri. Says Rashi. What does it mean, telchu keri? What terrible aveira the Klal Yisrael deserve that people are eating their own flesh. What are they doing so terrible? What aveira is it? Is ritzicha? Is it gila arayis? Maybe they're killing them each other. No. Telchu imi keri. So Rashi. Abu Seinu Omru Arai b'mikre she'eino ela lifrokim. There's no continuity. We're doing things haphazardly, not with a constant. There's breaks. We do it when we feel like it, when we're in the mood, when we feel good, when this is going good, then we're there. But when we're not in the mood, or we can't be bothered, or it's a little bit more difficult, or we have a little bit of a headache, or my left nostril is tickling me, or I have a little cough. Don't you hear, Rabbi? I won't be around for the next 3 weeks. It's a serious cough. When a person doesn't continuously serve Hashem, if it's not Tamidius, if it's not with no continuity, Rabbi said, you can't accomplish. You can't break into the ground. You gotta do it many times over in a continuous pace with constant avoida, and then you start to make inroads in your heart. You can't make inroads if it's going to be liprokim. And the Bereshit wants to have a relationship, a serious relationship. You can't have a relationship with anybody if it's going to be You want to feel connected to the Bari Olam. But Islam says you want to go carry with me. You want a relationship of carry, it's not going to work. There's a constant bound, we're married to each other. That's not a relationship. Prakim. The Sofar Shab says, you know why the guy was able to have that inroads, to become ready to give up his land? Because it was a constant over 7 years, 49 years. Every 7 years, again and again, another inroad, another inroad, another inroad. Finally became to lots of this. Easy, like sand. Take back your land. I've already accomplished through 7 times. I didn't say 1 time, 7 times in a row. Constant. Constant and continuous. And that's how we make inroads. That's how we make Ahavas. That's how we make Ahavas Yiddishkeit. We got to do it constantly when it's hard, when it's difficult, but constant. That starts to break in. The Gemara brings in the Torah, Daf Nun, Ksuvas also Samad Gimel, Samad Beis, Samad Gimel, the story of Rabbi Kiva. We once spoke about Rabbi Kiva's story in parsha Shmuez for a different thing. But here in parsha the Gemara in the Torah, the Gemara brings a Murray the Gezachar. Rabbi Kiva was an Am Ha'oretz. Am Ha'oretz, not Stam Ha'oretz. And Am Ha'oretz Shabbat Amaratzim. Rabbi Akiva, the Heilige Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the Talmud of Rabbi Akiva. Everybody celebrated. Who was the Rebbe? The Heilige Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva, the Rebbe of all the Torah we have today, or Eloshomim, Shabbat Rabbi Akiva, Seder Shabbat. This Rabbi Akiva, the Gemara tells him, was Am Ha'oretz, who hated Talmidei Chachamim. Give me a Talmud Chacham, I'll bite him up like a dog. So this is the Gemara Pesachim 49b. This Rabbi Akiva became not only a Talmud Chacham, not only a great scholar, the Gadol Hador, the Rebbe of 24,000 Talmidim. From Aleph Beis at 40 years old, 64. At 64, was he 40 years old? He started to learn 40. To learn Aleph, Kometz Aleph at 40. 24 years later, it's mamish mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. How it was that in 24 years he became the Gadol Shebigdoilim. We spoke about it, which was made a different mahalach. Today I want to speak out the pashtus. Rabbi Akiva sat and learned for 12 years. 12 years straight. Not going home every farm holiday door. Rebbe, can I speak to you, please? Yes. Well, this man has been a while already. It has, it's only 3 weeks into this month. Yeah, but for me, it's been a long time already. Okay. I hear we have to mechaz. No, I have to talk to you. I need a shus because you made new rules. I need a shus, Rebbe. Okay, for what? You want to go out? Take a little break? No. I have a chasana. I have to be by the chasana. My grandmother's cousins, aunts, first cousins, brothers, sisters, mothers, dog sister is getting married. That dog, I've known it for years. I was by his bar mitzvah. Baruch. I was by his bar mitzvah. I have to be by the chasna. Every single little thing a guy has to be by today. My grandma's having an upsharing on a sheito. Everybody's getting a cut. I'm cutting the bangs. I gotta go back, Rabbi. You gotta be there for the upsharing of Grandma Sally. And even if it's your friend, Rabbi Sai, my best friend's getting married. When was the last time you spoke to him? Well, we haven't been in contact for about 18 years. But we were in the same play group together. He once poked me in the eye. And we made up afterwards, and I shared my bottle with him. Could I please go to his wedding? I have a present for him. I have the old baby bottle. The boy side, he can't get anywhere without continuity. It has to be day after day, night after night. You take breaks, you have time, but you can't have so many breaks, boy side. This is for you. You got to keep it going constant. Rabbi Akiva went away. You know why he had such Yiddishkeit to get such? Because he had such Avos HaTorah. 12 years straight, and everybody knows Rabbi Chaim was his word. He came back after 12 years. He got a Rosh after 12 years. It's a strict yeshiva. I think we're putting in that policy next year. He got Rosh to go home to see his wife after 12 years. And she was talking to the neighbor, and they were saying, what are you doing? If it was up to me, said the Heilig Rochel, let him go back another 12 years. Rabbi Akiva turned around, and the famous kasha, why did he stop in and have a cup of Nescafe? A cup of Nescafe. Say hello, dear Rochel. It's nice to say hello to you. We haven't spoken. There were no phones. We haven't spoken in a while. Turned around, another straight 12 years. Chaim Shmulevitz, 12 and 12 doesn't equal 24. 24 years equals 24. But the Rebbeinu said the Yisroel of this Gemara is prefaced with a story, with a Chazal, which is not in the Gemara, but it's in the Pirkei Rabbi Loz, I think, or Torah de Ve'elio. It's one of the Torah de Ve'elio. So what was it that gave this inspiration to Rabbi Akiva? And the Chazal say that Rabbi Akiva on the way there was thinking to myself, how in the world am I going to become anything? I know my wife is dedicated. She wants me to learn. She wants me to become something of myself. But I'm 40 years old and I'm a Am Ha'aretz. And 40 ahead is not the same as young. And how am I supposed to become something? So says Chazal, he was walking over a bridge in Arion, he saw a rock. He saw a rock. And he saw that the rock had been indented. There was a whole area of a rock. He saw a area of the rock was indented very deep. And he started to ponder and think, what is going on here? So says Chazal, Mefurish Chazal. And then he realized that this rock was one wholesome rock once. What happened? The water, every day and every few minutes, hit upon that rock. And Rabbi Akiva was thinking to himself, how did that happen? The rock is even solid stone, water. What's water? But it was that every single few minutes and every single day, the rock hit the water. V'otipa, 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 v'otipa. Another drop, and another drop, and another drop, and another drop. And finally, by hitting against that rock, it indented, it made a hole, it pushed through. And Yeshiva said, if that's what water could do to a rock, my heart is not made of stone. My heart's made of basar. Certainly the Heilig Torah that hits it every single day, continuous, is going to make a difference. And then Rabbi Akiva went on to learn 12 years, and he had 12,000 Talmidim, and another 24 straight years from his life. So far, these days we're counting the Oimer, the Yisroel of Chazal to Mimois. Constant every day. What are we counting? We said, the Chinuch says, we're counting for that great day of Mount Torah. You know, I'm going to be serving the Torah because 49 straight days you're thinking and and your machshava is about Avas HaTorah, what Torah is, and then you come on Shmuez and give me the Torah, I love it. Because it's continuous. It's constant. You can't become anything if you're going to have breaks and breaks and breaks. I'm not talking about having to pay the story and taking a break. But I'm talking about being constant, continuous. Fridays, during the week, well, this and that, fine. But you're going to end up snoring. You're going to be like Mr. Yankelovich. And then they'll give a hesped of, here lies Mr. Yankelovich. I can finally give a regular shear tomorrow. Here lies Mr. Yankelovich. He snored his way through davening. You want to have a cheshek, you want to have a geshmak, Rabbi side. You gotta be constant and continuous. You gotta come. It's hard, Rabbi side. I'm not saying it's easy, but you gotta make a kfiyas and come every single day. Chazal say kavata itam Torah. Even when you're a businessman, you got every day kavata. It has to be every day because that's going to penetrate. And not only leave it at Torah, any media that you want to acquire, you got to work on it constant. The safar the midah bitochon, constant. You can't have every other 2 day break. You need a break after working hard. Okay, we're not on the drag of Rabbi Kiva, but to make it continuous was like days straight of learning, of coming on time to second Seder. You see the accomplishments. Look around the base measure. We sing and we make siyum and we say, what is the sort of a whole siyum? How does Shai see him? It's only if it's every day. Those are guys who are making siyum and finishing Masechtas because they're here every day. Yes, every day. The ones who are making siyum, the ones who are getting the geshmak and Torah because it starts to penetrate. Bring me a Gemara Chagiga, 27a. Zok the Gemara Chagiga, 27a. Unbelievable Gemara. It's a shame you make a siyum. Says the Gemara, Talmidei Chachamim ein or shel Gehenim shalatis bahem. The Talmidei Chachamim, the or of Gehenim will not be shown on a Talmid Chacham. Says the Gemara, how do we know it? Kal v'choyme mi salamandre. It's a kal v'choyme from an animal called a salamander. Everybody knows what that is. So the Gemara, kal v'choyme mi salamandre. Uma salamandra, she told us Aish. It's only an outgrowth, it's a product of fire. And you take its blood and you rub it on you will not burn. You will not burn. The blood of the salamandra won't burn, and it's only told us Aish. Talmid Chacham, Shekol, Gufa, and Aish. He's all Aish. Certainly he won't burn. So Rashi. One of the most fascinating Rashis in the whole Chagiga of Masechta. Zok Rashi, Salamandra. Chaya hanivreis min ha'or. It's a chaya that's created from fire. How? Kisheboyerin eish b'mokoim echad sheva shonim tamid b'li hefsek. 7 years straight, you burn a fire in a place. There it creates a new being called the salamandra. A Talmid Chacham shekol gufay eish sheva shonim temimois b'li hefsek. We're not b'li hefsek, and we're not Rabbi Kiva, but we can, and we see it by the guys that do it. And the nafkibin is not whether you're going to be a boy, know the whole shas, because it will be that. And it might not be enough Gemina whether you're going to be the Poisek Hador and the rabbi, the great rabbi of England, chief rabbi of England, UK, Lord, whatever they'll call you. And you won't be a shoychet either. You might be just a pashta balabas with your plunger, but you're going to have avas. You're going to have love of Torah and love of Yiddishkeit. You made an asik of coming to davening every day. And you sat, it was difficult, but you started to feel the davening because it was every day. And you thought about it. And you made an asik of it. And you did your mitzvah every day, constantly, continuously. It's going to make inroads, Rabbi said. It's going to start to churn a change inside. And then you've accomplished what your mission should be in this world, and especially these years of Yeshiva, Rabbi said. Don't forget, Rabbi said. Don't look back one day on the years of regret. I had the opportunity. I had a nice base medrash. I had a band that cared. I had a program that was meant to give geshmak, and I squandered it because I had to go out every few minutes and go here and go there, and every single thing was it. And every Shabbos I went here. Shabbos I didn't take out a sefer ever. The continuity with Shabbos, Rabbi side. Shabbos to have a little continuity, not to learn the whole Shabbos, but take out a sefer for an hour or two and continue chazering the meruba, Rabbi side. And I had to go back for grandma's off sharing, and my great cousin twice removes bar mitzvah and bat mitzvah and bar mitzvah, and every stupidity I had to go for and I had to be in touch with, and I had to have you on that stupid WhatsApp, and every 5 minutes makes my brain crazy to know what's doing in every place in the world. And I had to be busy with everything, and I didn't have time, I wasn't able to focus and stay continuous in my learning. And I gave up the opportunity of my life, and now I sit here, falling asleep, and snoring in the rabbis, my mincha ma'ariv shir. And they carry me out now, because I'm so loud. I have a cold, especially when I get a cold, the walls are shaking from my snoring. My wife wants to throw me out of the house with the snoring. And it all started, because I learned snoring in Yeshiva. Bed modeling. Because I didn't have the time and I didn't think of the importance. I realized the importance of getting myself off the bed. I give a get to the bed. You're not married to it. Get out of bed. And the mice I came to the base medrash, I didn't come, I was busy with who knows what, and who knows stupidity upon stupidity, and I squandered that great chance of a lifetime of giving myself a love for Yiddishkeit, a love of Torah, a love of Hashem, carry prakim. We should be Zoyach of Eizah Hashem Yisbarach. And we should be Chazik, these days towards Matan Torah. And it's not necessarily always, Rabbi said, it has to be a whole, but even when you sit down to learn a Seder, Rabbi said, make a retzifus, make it also continuous. An hour straight of learning, Rabbi said, it's a different world. The Chazoin Ish writes that a person that learns a certain amount of hours straight without hefsek, he starts to go into a different world. He starts to taste Gan Eden, Rabbi said. It's an unbelievable feeling. The Chazoin Ish writes that a person starts to go. Can we get to that level? I don't know, but as we get close, we can. Not making hefsekim, going in and saying, you know what? For the first 20 minutes, we're not going to talk. For the first 15 minutes, I'm not going to schmooze about potato chips. It's not that important if the ripple potato chip is better than the plain potato chip. It's not that important. It's not so important what they're serving for lunch today. To talk about how his lunch was better 2 days ago. Now you talk out, you come into the base medrash, 15 minutes at the beginning, say to learn B'Ritzifa straight, continuous. You start to make English, you'll start to develop a love. The taste of the words will be sweet on your lips, and you're kind of something for life. This is the time. Don't squander the chance. We should be Zoyach of Eizah Hashem. The sphere we're doing now, Tmimo, is complete, continuous and constant. We should have some part of our learning, whether it's that half hour, the 15 minutes, whether it's complete during the week, not to miss one of the stars. We can't make it all, take first Seder, second Seder, whatever, third Seder. We're not going to miss the whole week, no matter what. And Mitzvah Hashem carried over to more and more constant. The Hefsei, Be'ez Hashem, through that we'll get a geshmak. And we'll get a kesher with Yibber Hashem, a deep kesher. We'll be Zoycha to accomplish our mission. In these years, the mission of this world, be Zoycha Be'ez Hashem, to the Ava, and be Zoycha Be'ez Hashem, to Mashiach Sekeinu, Amen.